Hello guys, what is up? It's King Christo here, and today I'm here for another video. Today in this video, I'm going to be making a $4,200 PC build on PC Part Picker. Now this build was suggested by Darkfire Blast. He said $4,000 God PC. Now I did bump it up to $4,200 just to have a tiny bit more legroom. Not that I'm saying $4,000 isn't already a lot. I just wanted to add a few parts to make it a little bit better overall with looks and whatnot. Now, also, if you guys want to suggest your own PC builds, go into the link in the description below and join the Discord server by clicking the link. And then, if you guys suggest a PC build, you have a chance of it getting on the channel. And if you have social medias or anything that you want to have shouted out, I am willing to also do that. Also, before we get into the build, I would like to say the color scheme of the build is going to be green and black, so please take that in mind of all the parts I picked. Okay guys, so first we have our processor. This is the Intel Core i7-7700K. This is the best processor for gaming, and although it doesn't have the most cores out of any processor, since it does have only around 4, it is the best for gaming because gaming only takes advantage of one core anyways, and it has a massive core clock of 4.2 gigahertz, and so you will not be seeing any throttling from the CPU in any games you play. Now that i7 is known to get fairly hot at times, and so we really got to get a good CPU cooler in the build. This CPU cooler is the Corsair H100i-V2, by far one of the most popular liquid coolers out there, and it looks really nice, and as well as being compatible with Corsair Link, which is a software that allows you to monitor all the thermals and whatnot in your build, and is really good for that reason. And also, this CPU cooler is 240 millimeters, meaning it uses two 120 millimeter fans, meaning you can actually mount this to any two 120 millimeter fans. Okay, so for our motherboard, I chose the Asus Strix Z270E Gaming. First of all, this does have SLI support, so if you're going to do two graphics cards, you can use this. Now up here is actually an RGB strip, meaning we can actually make this any color right here, and so I could make that green to go along with our theme in the build. It also has 4 RAM slots, which is definitely enough, and it has all the connections that we will need to get our build up and running. And also, it is by Asus, which you'll see later on will match our graphics cards as well. Now for RAM, I went with two 16 gigabyte sets, so that actually makes a total of 32 gigabytes, filling all 4 RAM slots, of the G-Skill Trident Z RGB. Now first of all, let's go over the specs on this. It runs at 3200 megahertz and has a cast latency of 16, so that's going to be perfectly fine for any gaming that you're going to do. You're not going to see throttling due to the RAM. And as well as the fact that it is, once again, RGB, and so we will be able to make this a nice green color to match the rest of the build. Now for our drive to store everything on, I went with the 2TB NVMe SSD, the Samsung 960 Pro. This is by far one of the fastest, if not the fastest drive out right now, and so first of all, your computer is going to turn on really fast, as well as games will have no buffering time when they're loading because you have a slow drive. Now also 2 terabytes should be enough for any gaming that you plan to do, as even most game consoles out right now usually only have around 1 terabyte of storage. Now earlier I did mention that the motherboard and the graphics card would go really good together. This is because in this build we are using two Asus GTX 1080 Ti Strix editions, which obviously a Strix graphics card would go good with a Strix motherboard. Now what Asus means by Strix is that it is RGB, so all these red lights that you can see here, we can actually turn green, as well as the fact that the Strix edition card has been proven to be one of the fastest 1080 Ti's out right now, and so all those jumble of reasons that I just listed make this the perfect graphics card to put in our build. Now for our case, I went with the Phanteks Enthoo Evolve. First of all, this does have a little green highlight down here, so it will go with the color scheme of the build. Second of all, it has a really nice simplistic design. I don't like cases that you can tell that the manufacturer tried to make it look so cool to the point to where it just looks stupid. This is very simple, and it will look nice on almost any desks. Also, it is ATX, so it will fit all of our motherboard and all our components. And finally, look at this. It has a huge tempered glass window on both sides so that we get to see everything inside of our PC. And although I don't really know if it would be good specifically on this side, because that's where all our cables would show, it's going to look really amazing on this side, and we'll be able to see our power supply, but only the side of our power supply, because it does have a power supply shroud, so we don't have to see all of the ugly cables. And because we'll be able to look inside, all of the green highlights will show really well through this. Now for our power supply, I went with the Corsair RM1000i. Now a few things. First of all, this is 1000 watts, meaning it will be able to power our system no problem, and there is room for overclocking and upgrades later on. Also, this is 80 plus gold certified, meaning it's not going to be using much power that it doesn't need to use. Also, it is compatible with Corsair Link, just like our CPU cooler, meaning that we'll be able to use that software to measure the thermals of this as well, which, like I said, is really great. And finally, it is fully modular, so first of all, you can put easy custom cables into here, and second of all, you don't need cables in the system that you don't actually need. Now, I did decide to add 6 of these Thermaltake ring fans, mainly because if you look, they have a green light LED around them, which make them look really cool, as well as fit into the build. And also, the Thermaltake fans do have good enough performance to where they're going to be putting a lot of airflow in and out of our case, as well as being good. They are 120 millimeters, so we will be able to mount our CPU radiator onto these. And overall, they're going to give great cooling to the case and all the components inside. Now, this build on PC Part Picker costs a total of $4,140.92, but after adding a $40 high bandwidth SLI bridge, that will bring our total up to $4,180, and then you probably are going to want to purchase an extra NZXT internal USB hub for around $20, so that you can hook the CPU cooler and power supply up with Corsair Link. And so overall, this build will indeed cost around $4,200. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video and liked this PC. Once again, this was suggested by Darkfire Blast, and if you guys would like to suggest your own builds, go down in the link in the description below and join the Discord. Also, if you guys are interested in any of the parts in this build, the PC Part Picker link will also be down below. Now remember to comment, like, and subscribe, guys. This is King Christo signing off, and goodbye.